Hi guys, hope you're good. Aeon says hi with 3 eyes. That's a positive, I think. Hope you're well. Crazy FC guy says, yo, how you doing? Hope you are good. Hope you're having a good week. Harry says, hello, how are you? Good. It's almost the weekend, so can't really complain. How about you? Hope you're doing good. Bagwell says, hi, Fish is doing good. Well, that's good. That's good to know. That's the most important thing. So I'm glad you are doing good, and I'm glad all is well in Fishland. Crazy FC guy says, Fish, yo, say something, Fish. And Fish says, please. I guess that counts as something. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing good. I hope everyone's recovered after yesterday. Fish says Górnik Zabrze, that's his team, Polish team. Harry is alright. You've got an intervention. why have you got an intervention? Is the intervention for you, or are you conducting the intervention? And does it relate to you playing dodgeball in the hall? I'm curious. Also, you're the head boy. Head boys are not allowed to have interventions. So I'm curious what this is about. Harry doesn't have a girlfriend. He's single, I believe. Fish says, is that I joke? IJK? Crazy FC guy ate fish today. Me too. I made chicken in the morning, and then I spent took about half an hour, and then in the evening I was like, I just can't be bothered to cook it. So then I just had some fish as well. Fish says, why me? That's a very good question. I'm not too sure why you. You'll need to provide some context. Crazy FC guy says, do you give mod? Eventually I will need to. But for now I've got a good handle on it. But eventually I probably will. So yeah, if you want to be mod, let me know. Fish says no. Pixel says, new kit. Yeah, there's a new kit yesterday as well. I've been very good. Yesterday was the green one. Today I'm wearing the black one. But yeah, I hope you're doing good. Hope all is well with you. Fish says Podolski randomly. Pixel is going to start acting up in chat. That's not ideal. If you start acting up in chat, I might have to introduce some Luis Diaz slander. And I might have to also reveal how my FPL team is above your team currently. Actually, am I still? I think I was third. I think I was third or something. People need to respect Top Heavy FC. Where am I in your league? Your league is the only league that I'm in. Where am I? I'm in second place. I thought I was third. I'm in second place. I actually had 2 questions. Number 1, how am I in second place? And number 2, whoever Dexter Feeler is, tell him to just never make a team ever again. Because how'd you put Wildbeck up front by choice? But anyway, hope you're good. Crazy FC guy says, can you say 6-7? I can. Is this what this 67 thing is about? Can you provide context around that? Harry, right, so the intervention relates to geography, but is the intervention for you? Or are you conducting an intervention on behalf of a friend? And we need more context on like what the intervention's about. Have you like not done your geography homework or something? Is that what it is? I don't blame you. Geography was rubbish. Also, longshore drift, sedimentary rocks, igneous rocks. That's all you need to remember. Then you'll be good. Charlotte says hello. Crazy FC guy wants to be mod. Yeah, I mean, when I need mods, I will let you know. To be honest, most people, to be honest, very well behaved on YouTube. It's TikTok that needs the modding. If I'm honest with you, they've kicked off here. Mostly Twitch and TikTok people are very well behaved. It's the TikTok people. You know, the people that just join and just like instantly start being racist out of nowhere, and it's like, come on, I've not even said anything. Not that that would justify it, but if I was like making fun of your team or something and you retaliated, then I'd be like, okay, maybe I provoked him. But the people that just join and instantly, and I'm like, what? I'm talking about food. Where did that come from? So it's the TikTok that needs moderation. That's where having a extra wide screen helps. They've kicked off here. Set the timer. Is that working? Fuck. That'll do. Fish says we're better than Ruch, Choso, and hate Legia Warsaw. Is this Górnik Zabrze? Where are you in the Polish league? Are you like top? Or you middle or something? Pixel says no. I had a bad 2 weeks. I trusted Chelsea too much. Yeah, Chelsea are going through a rough patch. I mean, if Chelsea can at least keep 11 players on the pitch, that will be an achievement for them currently. Harry is Fish's carrot. That's interesting wording. Yeah, I was scrolling to the bottom of your league because let's be honest, I've not been down there at all. So I said, let's see how the other half live. And I was like, okay, it's pretty close, 314. Banfield Munich doing very good and so forth. Leaky Blinders doing pretty good. I'm like, Dexter. I was like, Dexter, how are you always at the bottom? So then I checked his team and I was like, that's why. That's probably why. Heidi Finley says, up the mags. Yeah, 4-0 win. Very nice. Can't lie. It was a Volta-made 2 Gordon penalties and then 1 more goal. But 4-0 is a 4-0. I'd take that. Crazy FC guy says, search whatever that is. I will try to do that later. Thankfully, Twitch is okay. To be honest, if I ever needed Twitch mods, I'd probably ask you. And also, I'm mostly just keeping Twitch up because of Pixel. there's nobody else there. So I'm just maintaining an entire separate stream because that's a nice person that I am. When I start acting up, that is true. Yes. I'll make you mod, and then you'll have to punish yourself. It's for everyone in my class. So this is the intervention. The teacher is doing it. It's to boost us for our mocks. What? Why is it giving you an intervention? Is an intervention like when all your friends get to? And I've never had an intervention. I've just seen it on TV. But like when all your friends get together and tell you you're doing something wrong or something along those lines. Is that not what an intervention is? I think your teacher might be using the word incorrectly. Fish says, no, my fish so bad, you spend your cash on a fish you never had. Yeah, Podolsky told me. Boy, it don't last. What's the it, or do I not want to know? So I ain't gonna side if that Bob ain't about a bag. Yes. What's Bob? What's Bob? Is Bob somebody called Robert or not? Harry's providing context. So Longshore Drift carries material to build. To build and dumps that onto another beach. Also bays and headland. Headland is hard rock and the bay is soft rock. Why do you need an intervention? You're an expert. You're literally an expert geographer. I've always remembered like the term longshore drift, but not what it meant. So that's a bit of good context. Igneous rocks. They're the ones that come from volcanoes, right? Because like ignited fire. That's how I used to remember it. Sedimentary were like sediment, something to do with water. That's about as much as I remember. Fish says search Argentina. I mean, it's a country. I thought that said Ilanga, my mom, and I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, I literally like, had to look at it 2 times. I was like, what? Ilanga, my man of the match. But Gordon steals the show with a brace realistically. Tonali class as per. Yeah, I saw he got the assist for the Voltamate goal, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Crazy FC guys, correct. Yes, I do have a birthday in 2 days. To be honest, I'm more looking forward to the day after because that's when I go on holiday. But I appreciate you remembering it. It's pretty cool. You ever had falafel? I've not. I've never had falafel and I've never had a bagel. Those are 2 things I've never had in my life. Apparently, Canada make nice bagels. So I'm gonna have a bagel in Canada. But yeah, falafel and bagel are like the two things I've never had in my life. Harry says, I think you might have it slightly wrong. Intervention is how from. It's not. Your teachers chat in breeze, man. I'll prove it to you. Intervention is like when you're going off the rails. Like let's say I don't know. Let's say you start binge drinking 50 beers a day, and then all your friends get together and be like, Harry, stop drinking 50 beers a day, or you might fall off a bridge. Look, I'll show you. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Well, looking at the definition, to be honest, it's probably applicable to both scenarios. The act or fact, or a means of interfering with the outcome or course, especially of a condition or process. So, say intervention in a social setting. Yeah, to be fair, it's a vague definition that can apply to both, should we say? Oh, you should have led with that. It's free hot chocolate, coffee, tea, and all the biscuits. I'm in. I mean, I might turn up. I mean, judging by that. Sounds pretty good, to be fair. I think you might have it slightly. This is a new age term. This is like a new thing that has maybe come in the last 20 years. Like my teachers never used to say intervention. Intervention was like more of a thing you did with your friends, but meanings of word changes. The meanings of words change. Birthday in 2 days. Let's go. Indeed, and Delwood as well. Yes, same day. Pixel says, "Bruh, you need a New York bagel." Yeah, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed I didn't get one. The thing is, when I was researching New York, they were like, "What's the best food to get in New York?" They were obviously saying pizza, and then I tried like 50 different types of pizza. There was some. I went to Hamburger America, which I thought was overrated. I can't lie. I thought that was overrated, but the pizza was very good. But yeah, I missed my chance to have a New York bagel. But when I go again, not if, but when I go again, I will compare it to the Canadian one. Pixel says no. Yeah, Montreal apparently is quite good for bagels. You have had eggnog? No, I don't like egg. I should have maybe led with that. Um, anything anything egg heavy is I avoid. I wouldn't say I've got a phobia of eggs. I just don't like eggs. I'm a bit weird like that. Crazy SC guy has a birthday in 10 days. Nice. Is that on the 11th of October? Everyone's birthday is quite close together. Pixel's birthday was 23rd. Durwood's birthday is 3rd. My birthday is 3rd. And your birthday is 11th. So even Fish is happy. So if Fish is happy, it's definitely it's definitely a positive. Crazy FC guys, guess what number I'm on my football team? 8 or 10 or 19? 19. I'd go with 19. 19 seems a good guess. Yeah, Fish is kind of normal today. I'm surprised. This doesn't tend to last very long. Normally he just says hi. Like the first message is normal. So he'll say hi. And then after that, the abnormality begins. Speaking of abnormality, Michael Oliver is refereeing this game, which is interesting. Corner to Paris. Not bad. Just goes over. So what is this thing? You then done. It's an internet meme character. I mean, it's an orange with muscles. What is that? Is it like some sort of brain rot type of thing? Fall buddies, autumn buddies. Who are you rooting for today? To be honest, nobody. It's nice. It's nice not to have a stake in the game for again, if that makes sense. Because the last 2 games I've had a stake and we've lost both of them. So it's nice. It's nice just to watch as a impartial bystander for a change. How about you? Are you hoping for a win for Paris or maybe Barcelona? Speaking of, city-wise, I think Barcelona is better. Can't lie. Paris is fine, but a bit overrated. P5AM says, "Are you the new Allison replacement?" See, I could be because I guess I vaguely look like Allison and also vaguely look like Mamardashvili. But yeah, you'll probably need me, given the tendency for Allison to get injured every 5 seconds. Fish says go to Górnik Zabrze Stadium. That must be in Poland. What cities is your team in? You know what I mean? Like what city does your team represent? Pixel is also indifferent. Yeah, it's good to watch the game as a neutral for a change. Crazy FC guys, orange thing is cool. You're number 8, so I got it completely wrong. I potentially got it as wrong as can be. To be fair, Pixel also got it wrong. Pixel also said 19. But I think the options you gave were, Barcelona must score, cleared off the line. Ferran Torres went around the keeper and then basically tried to slot it into an empty net, but Zabani went sliding in and basically saved it. But yeah, you're number 8. Interesting. I guess number 19, so I couldn't be more wrong. P5am says that away black keeper jersey is a quality top. It is, yeah, it's nice. I like how simple it is. If you know what I mean, like it's not doing anything overcomplicated. There's no super complicated patterns or anything. It's just a plain kind of black stripes with some white stripes. Simple. Oh, Arsenal scored. Well, that's not good. Martinelli. It's not gonna work. Like these attempts to catch me out are not gonna work. But who is Liverpool's best midfielder for tackling and creativity? Right now, tackling and creativity. Probably Gravenberch. Probably Gravenberch right now. Crazy FC guy says, "Yo, there's something cool behind you. The thing that is moving. Yes, it's a pixel art thing. It's basically a monitor where like you can put kind of different pictures on it, and you can put like different animations on it. It's a guy with a sword today. I don't know if you saw yesterday's. Yesterday I just had a clock. But it's pretty cool. I'm always buying rubbish, but that one turned out pretty good. SH says, hello mate, how are you? Good, thank you. All good. How's things with you? Hope you're doing well. Hope all is well in Florence. What's the name? Let me check for you. I think perfect jersey. Dode says, lol, one day. Yeah, one day it will. One day you will catch me out. You look like Chris Smalling. I do not. Chris Smalling's got like horrible teeth. I don't have like fake teeth, but I do brush my teeth, which I don't know if Chris Smalling does. I prefer the Ruben Amorim comparisons. Why did the Firefly go to therapy? Yeah, I had too many sparks. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like I can change it to like different designs and things from my phone, which is quite good. The only problem is like some of the it looks a lot better in person. The only problem is some of the animations, because they flash really quickly, they don't come up really good on the webcam. So it looks okay, but in person it looks a lot better. Charlotte says, your beard is perfection. You always say that the day after I shave, which is interesting. But no, I appreciate that. I had to dye it yesterday because it was starting to look like this shirt, mainly black, but with a few too many white patches. Let's hope it doesn't start looking like the cap, which is mostly white with just a bit of black on the front. What do you think is Liverpool's strongest team at the moment? Interesting question. Can I change the question slightly and say, what Liverpool team would I play in the next game, which is Chelsea? Goalkeeper, I think Alisson's injured, so we're gonna have to play Mamardashvili. Right back, I'd go Frimpong. Ooh, Torres has scored, but I think he's offside. No. Torres is not offside. Okay. 1-0 to Barcelona then. I thought Torres was offside there. But yeah, in terms of who I play against Chelsea, Mamardashvili, because you have to. Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, Kirkes. Then I play Gravenberch, but I want Gravenberch to be a holding midfielder. Don't do this running forward nonsense, this exotic fluid rubbish. Just be a holding midfielder. Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah. I'm torn between Ekitike and Isak and Gakpo. Basically, I'd keep it as simple as possible, because it feels like he's maybe trying to change too much at the same time. And when you do that, you kind of lose familiarity and you lose rhythm because there's too many variables now. So that's perhaps what I would do. Fish says game over. There's only been one goal, Fish. There's plenty of time. Fish, can you tell me what 6-7 means? I have no idea. SH says good, thanks. Still gutted from yesterday. Don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on with us at the moment. Yeah, 2 losses on the bounce is never good. It's probably a combination of kind of multiple things, if I'm honest. I think part of it is perhaps making too many changes in a short amount of time. And that's not just tactically, that's also from a personnel perspective. So you can maybe argue that maybe he rotated too much. So I think that's one of the issues. Another one of the issues I feel is McAllister was the link last year between the kind of defense and the attack. And with McAllister not there, the defense, the midfield, and the attack, they all kind of feel separated. There isn't really any link between them. They feel like 3 separate entities instead of kind of one entity. So I think that could be an issue as well. And the third one could be confidence. It could be confidence. It could not necessarily just be a physical thing. It could also be a mental thing with kind of respect to confidence. That's what I would suppose. But based on that, I think next game I'm gonna want him, or I hope he makes it as kind of simple as possible. I'm gonna say as simple as possible. Maybe try and mimic the way he played last year, but put in a few new players, not too many new players, and then maybe that's the way to do it. Crazy FC guy says love the room. Thank you, I appreciate that. I have been doing this room up. So then the lights there. I don't know if you like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, but on that shelf there's a Perfect Cell statue. There's a Beerus statue. There's a Vegito statue. And there's some lights and things. So yeah, I'm gradually doing it up. But I appreciate that. Niam thinks McAllister as a 6 and Gravenberch as an 8 as he progresses the ball, whilst McAllister is great passing. McAllister is great passing. I understand your point, the point you're making. The only concern is I feel like he's not quite mobile enough to play the 6. Like he can do it, and he can do a good job there. But I just feel like Gravenberch in the 6 is maybe a 9 out of 10, and McAllister in the 6 and McAllister in the 8 is a 9 out of 10. Whereas if you flip those around, I don't feel like the sum is as good. But equally, there's nothing stopping them from doing both. If you think about it, you could maybe start with Gravenberch and then McAllister ahead of him, and if it's not working, they can switch it around mid-game. SH says great assessment. I appreciate that. That's kind of what my thinking was. There were some kind of very silly people making silly conclusions that I won't repeat, but I think this is what the manager gets paid for. So let's kind of see how he copes with an adverse situation. This is arguably the first adverse situation he's been in. Paul says, well done to Liverpool who lost. Appreciate that. How you doing, Jeffrey? Hope you're good. Hope all's well with you. Still 1-0 to Barcelona here. Niam says, also think Chiesa, Ekitike, Wirtz should start. So in your formation, would you put Chiesa on the right, Ekitike in the middle, Wirtz on the left? I'll be honest, I like Wirtz, and I'm nowhere near as harsh on him as many people are. And me personally, I won't really start judging him until next year, if I'm honest with you. But the judgment I have made so far is I don't like him on the wing. but nevertheless, Chiesa to be replaced by Salah. I hear you. These are two different opinions, and I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Me personally, I'd want to maybe revert back slightly to kind of something that was more familiar with respect to how things were done last year. But I guess we'll find out. I won't find out because I'll be on a flight, so I'm going to miss the match. but you will find out. I will find out afterwards. Noel says, as much as I hate PSG, I have to admit, even though he made it, yeah, Vitinha's good. Vitinha's a good player. SH says, was expecting... Who's No, sorry? Was expecting No to step up. Is that somebody's initials? Nadam Onua? Well, it's obviously not Nadam Onua. let me know who... Oh, Mo, yeah, of course. I was thinking... I was overcomplicating. I'm like, what does NO stand for? What is this cryptic puzzle that I must solve? NO. But yeah, no, Noel's right. It could be Noel, to be fair. To be fair, it's the start of your name. So it could be you, Noel, if you think about it. Yeah, I thought so too. I was in my kind of pre-match prediction, I was predicting him to get a goal. It is bizarre. It is bizarre. I'm not kind of panicking too much. I mean, I am disappointed. It's always disappointing to lose a game, and it's particularly disappointing to lose 2 games in a row. As Jeffrey's also said there, Jeffrey was also disappointed with Liverpool's performance. But equally, I'm not overly worried because Liverpool are still first. If you know what I mean. The good thing is there is a Man United match soon, so that's an easy 3 points coming up. But yeah, I expected a bit more from Salah yesterday. I expected a bit more from Frimpong yesterday. I appreciate Frimpong's new, and again, I'm not getting on him. And again, the thing is with me, I don't judge any new players until the second year and sometimes the third year. But I would have expected a bit more. So I presume it's a lack of tactical familiarity because there's so many new players, and it's not just the fact that there's new players. There's also more rotation. So there's new players that you start with, and there's also new players that are coming off the bench that you also don't know. So it's like 2 sets of new players to a certain degree. So I presume it's some sort of chemistry thing that they can hopefully kind of work through. But yeah, time will tell. Time will tell, I guess. I do think you're right about that. It's sad to think this is more than likely Mo's last season. Yeah. Which, if it is, if it is, that will make me. Ooh, free kick by PSG. If it is, that will make me appreciate the fact that he signed a 2-year contract. Because I think he would, if this season is his last season, I think he would have known that last year. Like he would have known that last year that this season is my last season. So if it is his last season, it makes me appreciate the fact that he signed a 2-year deal, because it means Liverpool can sell him, hopefully to a Saudi club, and get a bunch of money. Pixel has started his descent. I don't know what that emoji is, but it must just be me. But it doesn't quite look. It doesn't quite look right. Is it an arrow? I don't know. Maybe if I switch to the actual Twitch window. Yeah, it's an emoji that looks more profane than it probably should. Yeah, SH meant to say Mo. And Noel says, thinking about it though, PSG last season lost their second Champions League game. Before that drew. Yeah, I'd say another kind of side of the coin is I watched football for about 30 years. And so something I've noticed kind of recently, and again, I'm not saying old is good and new is bad, and I'm not saying new is bad and old is good. But there is a lot more kind of pressure over a single loss these days. I can remember back in the day, like Alex Ferguson's United teams, they used to lose multiple times, and it wasn't the end of the world. But equally, I think a reason for that is kind of points tallies these days are kind of so much higher. So just losing a game can bring a lot more pressure. But in terms of my conclusion, in terms of how I feel, I'm disappointed, but like I'm not angry, because I think things will go wrong, and not just on a football pitch, in real life, like in your jobs, whatever your jobs are, things will go wrong. In your real lives, things will go wrong. So for me, like I don't tend to start panicking when things go wrong. I start panicking when things go wrong and you try to fix them, and then your fixes don't work. Then I'm like, oh, okay, you know what I mean. So I'm just waiting to see what they do to rectify the situation. I think they've deserved that opportunity. Jeffrey says Man United is our bread and butter. Yeah, should be an easy win. How you doing, Path to Jannah? Hope you are good. David says G and then glory Man United. Hope you're good. David. Mason Jason Aviation, how you doing? Hope you're well. How was the game you went to? Was it the Newcastle one? Or was it one before that? I remember it was a Sunday, but I hope it was good. How you doing, anime fan? Barcelona, the chokers of the Champions League. Yeah, they've not won it for a while. Also, have you got a favorite anime? I wish I watched more anime. I watched like Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. I watched One Punch Man as well. That was good, but not much more, to be honest. David says, just hate the way we pass around the back when we have the best attacking players. Yes, that's a good point. Somebody yesterday was saying that they felt that our build-up was very bad. And kind of my response to that was, I don't even feel like it's build-up, because it's not going up. It's just build. Like, it's not build up. Like, that ball ain't going up. It's very slow, very lethargic. And because they're taking forever to eventually move the ball up, that would kind of quite often give the opposition time to get 11 players back. So I think you're right. They need to start moving it quicker. It was good. Martinelli got a last minute winner. Oh, nice. Pretty good game to go to then. 100%. Jeffrey is saying chat later. Driving home. Drive safe, Jeffrey. Take care. Rio says hello. Your lives cheer me up. That's good to hear. You also cheer me up. How you doing? I hope all's good with you. What's your username history? Your username history is Rio Ngamoa, and before that you were Alexander Isak, and before that you were Verts, and before that you were Milos Kerkez. But I think I might have got the order wrong. No, I'm 100% confident I've got the order wrong. But never mind. But yeah, hope you're doing good. NBA 2K says Monaco versus City 2. Interesting, yeah. Quite a few quite a few good games today. Perhaps if we look at this here. Newcastle, they won 4-0. NBA 2K mentioned that Monaco City game, which is 1-1. Haaland and then Teze. Arsenal 1-0 up. So Mason Jason will be very happy about that. Martinelli goal. 1-0 to Barcelona here. Leverkusen 0-0. Dortmund 1-0 against Bilbao. Napoli 1-0 up against Sporting, and Villarreal 1-0 up against Juventus. Quite a few good games, I can't lie. Is this game interesting? I'm watching the Arsenal versus Olympiacos game right now. To be honest, it's okay. It's nothing special, if I'm honest. You're like the Arsenal game might be better. It's very cagey. Like it's one of those games that is billed as like two mega teams, which it is. But sometimes those two mega teams cancel each other out, and it's a bit of that. Oh yeah, Kirkes, Frimpong, Wirtz, Isak, Leone, Ngomoa. I think yeah. I think that's accurate. I do remember your first one was Milos Kirkes. I remember that. Would you rather have magical powers or magical knowledge? Magical powers, I think. What's magical knowledge? What is that? I doubt the Arsenal game is better. Yeah, this is a bit of a stalemate so far. Ooh, PSG just equalized that out of nowhere. Mayulu. Yeah. As Kanem is saying there, goal. Just out of nowhere. They just basically just dribbled the ball forward, passed it, and then took a shot. that was it's just literally he just literally walked forward. That's crazy. Who is the best Liverpool midfielder for tackling and visions? Tackling and vision. It feels lazy just going with Gravenberch for most of these. So Barcelona is good, but I wouldn't really categorize him as having vision, if you know what I mean. Probably Gravenberch. Who do you think will go on to have a better season, Barcelona or PSG? Probably Barcelona. I'd say PSG had a good season last year, but it's typically it's typically quite hard to repeat that, I find. Once you have a good season, whether it's down to motivation, whether it's down to kind of other teams taking you more seriously. Whereas Barcelona seem, and I appreciate Barcelona won the league last year, but PSG winning the Champions League, in addition to the league, feels like a bigger. Feels like, yeah, it just feels like that might. It might be too much for them. I don't know. But if I had to guess, I'd probably say Barcelona. Don't you say words. Yeah, I think who's the best midfielder for tackling and vision? Yeah, I'd probably go for Gravenberch. I think PSG will have sort of a downfall. Yeah, you see this kind of time and again. Teams. Oh, you're right, Johnny. Yeah, there was that PSG goal earlier. I forgot to update the score, but thanks. Thank you for the heads up. I will update that. There you go. But yeah, when you win, sometimes it's harder to win the second time because to a certain degree you've got a target on your back, and there's naturally kind of less motivation. I think for players, players will kind of quite often say, "Yeah, we want to go again," but in reality, once you've had a cake, the second slice of cake doesn't taste as good unless it's been a year since you had the cake. Rob says it's 1-1, isn't it? Yeah, I've just updated that. I forgot to update. I forgot to update the score. I was thinking about cake, and let's be honest, thinking about cake can distract the mind. Don't forget, half the PSG players were at the Ballon d'Or during that game. That is true. Charlotte says, "What are your thoughts on the Liverpool goalkeeper situation?" Well, we're about to see the goalkeeper situation because Alisson got injured again yesterday. So we're about to see we're about to kind of see uh how strong Mamardashvili is. And I think that's part of the reason why they spent so much money on a backup. And not even spent so much money. I think that's part of the I think that's part of the reason why they were able to convince Mamardashvili to join. Because yes, he came in as a backup, but equally Alisson gets injured eating cornflakes. So even though you're the backup, Georgie, you're going to get plenty of playing time. So he's going to be thrown into a very big game against Chelsea, and then potentially, I don't think we've had confirmation with respect to how long Alisson is out, but he might also then play the Man United game as well. So who knows? It'll be interesting to kind of see if he's how much better he is than Kelleher as well. Mamardashvili, he did play a bit in pre-season. Seemed fine, but I guess we'll find out soon. Rio would have rather got Reinders than Wirtz. Different types of players, though, if you think about it. Reinders is kind of more of a deeper type of player. Wirtz is more of a kind of number 10 type of player. Do you not feel that Reinders is too similar to McAllister? I always thought of them two being quite similar in the way that they played. He can play attacking midfield, but I feel like his primary kind of role is central midfield. And when you already had McAllister and Gravenberch, I felt like a specialist 10 was more needed, so I can understand why they kind of did that. Also, if Liverpool sign yet another Dutch player, you're they might they might have some serious explaining to do. All of the PSG first 11 are all over 85 rated except the goalkeeper. Wow, that's insane. So basically, if Donnarumma did not leave, then they'd all be 85. How about the Liverpool 11? They've got to be pretty well rated. They must be all 85 as well, surely. Unless I'm missing something. Maybe Gakpo, maybe not. Maybe Kirkes, maybe not. Actually, the fullbacks. Maybe the fullbacks and Gakpo, maybe not. Xavi Simons, I really wanted. How's he doing at Spurs? I'm not too sure how he's doing. But again, that would be yet another Dutch player. I think we need to perhaps shop in other leagues. Rashford hat-trick coming. I'll believe it when I see it. Sub says, if we lose against Chelsea, our season might be over there and then. Would you not be second if you lose against Chelsea? I don't think being second in October means that your season's over. Frimpong 83, Kirkes 82, Virgil 90, Kanate 86, McAllister 86, Gravenberch 85. So Vazla 83. Okay, there or thereabouts. JJ says Frimpong, Kirkes, Sabo, Gakpo are all just below 85. Makes sense. Hiding Rocky, aka is that Michael Corleone or is that Scarface in your picture? I think it might be Scarface. But I hope you're good. Karabakh 2, Copenhagen 0. Yeah. Full time. That was an early kickoff. Is that your team, Karabakh? This one here at the top. So who scored for your team? Zubir, Abdallah Zubir, and Emmanuel Adai. Nice little win. NBA 2K says Haaland again. I can't lie. I'm quite. Yeah, you're right. 44th minute and 15th minute. I can't lie. I'm quite happy about that because he's in my FPL team. So I want him. And I appreciate this is Champions League, but he's doing good in the Premier League as well. So I'm happy for that. Yeah, City 2, Monaco 1. I think City are gonna be proper back with a vengeance this year. There's not gonna be any messing about. Rocky says yes, bro. Azerbaijan, nice. Rocky says, bro, we beat Benfica 3-2. I didn't know that. That's pretty impressive. You I mean, if you continue this form, you might proceed to the knockout rounds, which is really good. To be honest, I like if Liverpool don't win the Champions League, I'd be happy for like Karabakh to win it. It would just be amazing. But they're getting results. Oh, 1-1. Who scored first? Hi, Salam. Barcelona scored first. Ferran Torres. And then PSG said, you know what? We're just going to walk forward and take a shot. And then that's what they did. And they scored an equalizer. Yeah, PSG equalized with like the easiest The easiest looking goal you've ever seen in your life. Tom says Haaland is insane. Yeah, he's a robot. When I created my FPL team this year, he's the first he's the first player that I put in, and I made him captain. And I was like, I'm never gonna have to change that. And I think especially kind of given last year he maybe didn't have as good a year, which means this year he's gonna try extra hard. So that was kind of my reasoning why I was like, yeah, you know what, Haaland's my number one pick. What's your favorite snack to enjoy at carnival? To be honest, I don't know if I've ever been to a carnival. To be honest with you, is that like a fun fair carnival? But yeah, I can't say I'm much of a carnival type of guy. Doué, Dembele, Barcola not in starting 11. I think they got a couple of injuries. I don't know if those three specifically are injured, but I do think they've got a couple of injuries here and there. But it's half time, so better stop this. Better stop this timer. Reluctant Gamer says, "Is that the same kit as you wore yesterday?" Absolutely not. Yesterday was the green one, the long sleeve. This is a short sleeve. I don't know if you can see. Short sleeve goalkeeper kit. Third one. They are both the third. Ugh, now I've stuck my arm up. Now the camera's not focusing. Give me a second. There you go. But no, yesterday was the green one. And today's the black goalkeeper. But they're both the third kit, if that makes sense. So yesterday was the player third kit. Today's the goalkeeper third kit. But yeah. Oh, I never wear two shirts in a row. I have a reputation to maintain. Newcastle won, easy win, says Reluctant Gamer. Indeed, they did. Goal for Volta made 2 goals, 2 penalties for Anthony Gordon, and then 1 more against Union Saint-Gilloise. But a 4-0 is a 4-0, so yeah, good result. That goalkeeper kit looks nice. Yeah, I like it. It's simple. I like the fact that it's not too complicated. Sometimes kind of kits have kind of too many funky designs. There's too many patterns on them, and I don't like that so much. I prefer it when they keep things simple, I find. Yeah, the old is it trefoil or trefoil? But yeah, the old one. Adidas logo, yeah. Quite like that. Harry is back on TikTok. What are you doing on TikTok? Are you going there to avoid fish? He's hibernating, so you might be able to avoid him. Got Newcastle home goalkeeper kit. What colour's that? Gotta look that one up. Is the blue one? Is it this blue one here? Looks pretty good. So it's similar to the Liverpool one. Liverpool one's green and the Newcastle one's blue. Yes, Ballon scored. Ballon scored the last goal. But yeah, 4-0 is 4-0. Good result. Harry says, I don't know what I'm here for. I'm just on different app. You're just mixing it up. Fair enough. Are you gonna end up on Twitch eventually? I think you first joined on Twitch. I think maybe a few months ago. Yeah, probably gonna go around the houses fully. Joseph says Haaland is different gravy, man. Yeah. Two goals today, and it's only half time. I was kind of saying earlier, when I created my FPL team this year, Haaland's the first one that I picked because I knew that he was going to be on fire. Harry wasn't lying. That reminds me. What was like the first question? What is the first question I ever asked you? Yeah, that is true. To be fair, there's too many ads on Twitch. I don't blame you. Harry's back. But yeah, Twitch goes overboard with the ads, if I'm honest. Search Imenta. Liverpool need a striker like him. To be honest, I doubt they're going to buy another striker now. Real Scouser says, what's your prediction for Liverpool versus Chelsea? I'm unfortunately going to miss it because I'm going to be on a flight. So I've kind of mentally closed my mind off from it because I won't be able to watch it. Honestly, probably a draw, 1-1. Probably a draw, 1-1. Both teams are not in good form. Hopefully Chelsea get another player sent off. And Liverpool can play against 10. Salah has been quiet this season. I don't know if it's mental, I don't know if it's physical, I don't know if it's tactical, but hopefully they can sort that out soon. Let's hope they don't beat us. A draw I can live with. Anthony says, where are you going? I'm going to Canada on Saturday morning at like 4 a.m. for like almost 2 weeks. But the timing is pretty good because there's international football. So I won't really miss much. And I'll be back for the Man United game. Harry prefers YouTube staying here now. Yeah, YouTube's the best because on YouTube the comments come through straight away, whereas on Twitch they do as well, but Twitch has the ads problem. But on TikTok sometimes it lags, like the speed at which the comments come through. But on YouTube they come through straight away. Who will play when he's at AFCON? Oh God, I don't know. Probably Frimpong. As a Liverpool fan, they can probably beat us 2-1. They probably can. The only kind of saving grace is they're in quite poor form as well, and they keep getting players sent off. So I think mentally they're probably in a worse spot. But I think a draw is probably a fair prediction. Joseph's been in Canada, lived in Calgary for 8 months. Nice. Alberta. I think that's central. That's roughly center of Canada, I believe, when I was looking at the map. I'll be going to Montreal. I'm going Montreal for 5 nights, and then Toronto for 5 nights. But no, I've heard Calgary's nice. I've heard Vancouver's nice. So the good thing is the visa or the ETA thing lasts 5 years. So I will be going back, I think. I'm going to the Hill Dickinson Stadium to watch Everton women versus Man United women. Nice, enjoy. I think the tickets are quite well priced, aren't they? Like nothing ludicrous. So it's 100% worth it. Charlotte says exactly. Joseph says, sick man, enjoy. Appreciate that, Joseph. Anthony says, will you be live? No. It will be I've created the like what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be pretty jam packed the whole time, but I'll be back. I'll definitely be back for the Liverpool Man United game. And there's a chance, which is on a Sunday. The thing is, on the Saturday there's Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund, so the big German derby. So I might do that one, but I'll have to see because I get back on Thursday. And the thing is, the flight back is an overnight thing. So it departs at like 10 past 10 at night from Canada. And then I don't know how that's going to work out UK time. Dennis Charkovsky. I can. What position does he play? Show us what it will look like, says Anthony. Yeah, I can post some pictures and things on my TikTok, or use the story feature. And Nayab's not very happy about Barcelona. They're playing okay, but they shouldn't have. They just kind of completely stood still for that goal. If I'm honest with you, I'd argue they were. I was gonna say I'd argue they were on top, but then I didn't want to use that terminology. I'd argue they were better, but they just completely stood still. They just completely stood still for the PSG goal. Yeah, I feel really bad for Leone. Just imagine kind of moving to a new country, having a debut, being 18, and doing really well in your debut, and then not just getting a serious injury, but being injured for a year. It's just terrible luck, isn't it? The only kind of saving grace is, to a certain degree, number one, he's very young, and I feel like the younger you are, the easier serious injuries heal. Number one, you'd rather get an injury when you're 18 than when you're 80, kind of thing. And number two, apparently, kind of ACL kind of medicine has progressed quite substantially in the last few years. So ACL is not quite the kind of career ender that it used to be. So hopefully that's a comfort to a certain degree of a comfort of a poor situation. Ikram says, "Do you think Liverpool will qualify for the Champions League again?" Yeah. I think they'll get. I think they'll get top four quite easily. You live in Liverpool or Manchester? I do not. I live south of there, but they're close by. They're not too far away. I think Liverpool need a taller centre back, says Rio. I think they just need any centre back, especially with the Leone situation that Real Scouser was talking about before. They just need. Obviously, okay, I'm being a bit silly now. Obviously, they're not just gonna get anybody in. Tall is good. Tall is good. But do you mean taller? Do you mean taller than Leone? Because like Leone, Van Dijk, Kanate, they're all like similar height, aren't they? Like 6'5". So do you mean like taller than that? Like 6'7", 6'8"? Do you think Isak will start over Ekitike against Chelsea? When it's the Chelsea? Ooh, Chelsea game's Saturday, isn't it? I'm gonna say yes. No, I don't know. I I think it's highly dependent on Isak's fitness. I think if both were 100% fit, then I think Isak would probably start. But I just don't know. I just don't know kind of how fit Isak is, if you know what I mean. Oh, that's a good point. I hope not. I hope they don't ban you for 2 games for taking your shirt off. I'm not too sure, to be fair. Yakubu says hi. How are you, Yakubu? Second half has started here. Way on with two Santa Clauses. Is that me? Am I? Am I Santa Claus, aka Father Christmas? I'll take that. It's good enough. At least it means I make people happy. Ikram says you're always delivering fun. I appreciate that. Who's been Liverpool's most underrated player this season? There's a temptation to say Gravenberch, but I feel like Gravenberch is now actually being rated. Like now he's perhaps getting respect and getting notoriety. So maybe Gravenberch maybe Gravenberch isn't the answer. I'll be honest, I think Kirkes has been fine. A lot of people have been on him, but I think he's been fine. So I'm vaguely tempted to go with him. I just feel like to be underrated, you have to be somebody who doesn't have. Oh no, Real Scouse is correct. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's correct. Yes, that's better. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, Chiesa. He's underrated not just by fans, but also by the manager. So he's kind of he's double underrated. But the Chiesa situation is weird. Like manager clearly doesn't seem to like him for whatever reason. I'm sure there is a legitimate reason. But when Chiesa plays, he delivers. I mean, he gets goals. He's happy to be there. Doesn't seem to have any attitude concerns on the pitch or anything. And yeah, kind of as I was saying earlier, gets goals. So I'm a bit confused, kind of why he's not playing. But yeah, in terms of underrated, yeah, I think Chiesa is the clear choice there. And yeah, I'd maybe go Kirkes for second place, potentially. I almost feel like to be underrated, it can't be any like world class player, because by virtue of being world class, they can't really be underrated. So you couldn't pick one of the big shots. So it'd have to be like a smaller type of player. So I'd probably lean towards Kirkes as second place. But yeah, Chiesa for the first one. But yeah, 1-1 here. Ankit says PSG will win. I think you could be right. I think that the equalizer they scored kind of came out of nowhere and seemed to kind of take Barcelona by surprise. So I think Barcelona might be against the ropes now to a certain degree, which would allow PSG to get a second. And if they do win, that would be pretty impressive because PSG are away. Who is the best Liverpool Champions League goal scorer of all time? Does Salah have the record now? I think Salah's got the record. I think Gerrard used to have the record, and I think Salah's got it now. So it depends how you qualify the word best. But in terms of kind of volume, I think you'd have to give that to Salah. What do you think has been the reason we've been losing games? It's probably like it's probably a combination of reasons, to be honest with you. There's a new personnel. I think there's new personnel in the team, so there's new players. So it takes time to kind of develop rhythm with new players, I think. And I think secondly, there's a lot more rotation now. So there's not just new players in the starting 11, there's also new players coming off the bench. And there's also new players starting some games and new players not starting the other games. And I just think there's too much kind of variability. Whereas perhaps last year, it was pretty much the same team every single game. And not to say one approach is better and one approach is worse, but I just think I think that's perhaps a reason. The more you change things, the harder it is to build up rhythm. Secondly, I do think the manager has tweaked the tactics to a certain degree. So maybe he needs to find some. But the thing is, equally, he would have done that for a reason. Like, he wouldn't just have done that for lols. So I think maybe he needs to find some sort of balance between what was happening. And I think it could be mental and physical as well. Real Scouser has to go. Take care, Real Scouser. Appreciate your comments. Nayab says, I think Yamal is overrated. Yeah, he's good. He is. I mean, it depends. It's tough because he does kind of get very good numbers. And even when he doesn't get numbers, he always looks a threat. So that's kind of on the one hand. But on the other hand, I do think certain people hype him up to be the second coming of the Messiah, and I think that's going a bit far. So I understand where you're coming from. I think he's good. I think he's very good. But he's still got development to go. Yakubi says PSU will win 3-1. Okay, it's possible. They've got a corner. They've got a corner now, so they could certainly do that. A response to Ikram there. I'll have to find what the question was. Who is the best Liverpool goal of all time? Rio's. That can't be Rio and Gamoa. I'm trying to think which other Rio was there. You'll have to remind me. Sean says played 119, scored 27, assisted 38. Yamal. I mean that's a I mean it's a decent return. That's basically 0.5 GA, I guess. What's that? 38 plus 27, 58, 65, which is about half of 190. So it's a good return. But I think it's not an earth-shattering return. Maybe 10 years of Ronaldo and Messi have given us unreasonable expectations. That's probably some truth in that. I think Jack's got a point as well. I do think his age comes into it, and if he was in his prime with those numbers, there wouldn't be quite as much hype. But perhaps a lot of the hype is not purely on his output, but also on some of the intangibles and where those intangibles can go. Yeah, Sean says there it's still only 18. In a way, I think you're both right. So in a way, I think kind of both Jack and Sean are both kind of correct. in a way, yes, if he was 28, there wouldn't be this much hype around him. I understand that if we leave that kind of the left hand side, but then on the right hand side, he is 18. So he's doing very well for an 18-year-old. So maybe when he's a 22, 23-year-old, you'll see an even bigger improvement. Nayab's not convinced. Nayab doesn't like him. Jeffrey is back from his drive. Says, what do you think Liverpool should do against Chelsea? To be honest with you, me personally, I would want Liverpool to keep it simple. So let me explain what I mean by keeping it simple. Goalkeeper has to be Mamadashvili because Alisson is injured, so we have no choice. Right back, I'd go with Bradley because Bradley's more defensive than Frimpong, and I believe Liverpool are away, so we're gonna need a bit more defensive. Defenders, you have to put Konate and Van Dijk. Left back, I'd go with Kerkez. I think Kerkez is fine. Now, midfield, I want Gravenberch and McAllister, and Gravenberch needs to be defensive. Like, I feel like Slot has given him more authority and more responsibility to get forward. But for now, I'm like, bro, just do what you did last year. Just sit and sit there. Don't run forward too much. So I want kind of Gravenberch and McAllister holding. Maybe they can do something where if one goes forward, the other stays back, that sort of thing. I'd put Sabazla in number 10. Right wing, I'd put Salah. Left wing, I'd put Gakpo. And up front, if Isak is fit, I would probably put Isak. Whereas if Isak is not fully fit, I'd put Ekitike. But basically, I tried to 100%. I tried to mimic what they did last year as close as you can. And then see if that works a bit better, because I don't think they can continue to try the same thing over and over again, because then they're just going to keep on losing. So I'd perhaps go back to something that was a bit more familiar, and see how that works. Now, he might not necessarily 100% go back to how things were done last year, because I'd presume he changed things for a reason. But maybe find some sort of compromise. Maybe kind of go halfway back to what it was last year and halfway what it is this year, and see if that works. So that's probably what I'd do, to be honest. How about you? What would you do? Rio Ungamoa is 17. Yeah, just recently turned 16. And Nayab said they're comparing Ronaldo to Yamal. Okay, that's too far. That's too far. I mean, Yamal's looking great for an 18-year-old, but I think equally Ronaldo, you'd have to say one of the best players ever. Now, I mean, if they were to compare Yamal and Ronaldo at 18, that might be a more interesting comparison. But comparing Yamal to prime Ronaldo, I think they're being a bit silly, to be honest with you. We were talking about Ronaldo there, and I thought that said the media overhype him just like they did with Fat Ronaldo, and I was like, that's a bit harsh. But fatty, right? They're praying for a Messi regen. Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, like, I agree he's being overhyped, and if you take the Ballon d'Or, for example, I wouldn't have put Yamal quite so high. It almost feels like if you play for Barcelona, you instantly get like a exotic tag attached to you, and then that exotic tag, it's like an entry to a club, and the club's like Ballon d'Or and all these awards and things. So I do feel like wearing a Barcelona shirt does get him street cred to a certain degree, and if he was playing for Brighton or Bournemouth, he wouldn't have that. So I understand that, but I guess flip side is he's 18, and I do think he's doing quite good for 18. To be honest with you, I don't think we can really make any definitive conclusions yet, because he hasn't really got into his career, if you think about it. Like, his career hasn't really started. Once he's once he's 23, I think you can then start making conclusions. And I think once he's 27, 28, then you can maybe finish making conclusions. But right now he's basically like an embryo. like he's like he hasn't really started. But the flip side is some people will then overhype that, which again I understand. My kind of take on it is he looks good. It looks good based on what I've seen. But is he the best thing since sliced bread? No, not yet. Maybe he will be in a few years. He's taking a free kick now, and I bet you he's gonna hit that top corner. He's gonna make us look silly. Okay, he hits it over, so he makes Jack look correct. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Jeffrey says, yeah, keep it simple. Yeah, keep it simple, and also move the ball quicker. Move the ball quicker. That's something that I've kind of noticed the past few games. Like Liverpool, they get the ball back, but then they spend forever trying to get the ball back up the pitch. And when you take long to get the ball back up the pitch, that then gives the opposition time to get all their players back. So by the time Liverpool finally start moving the ball forward, there's 11 men behind the ball because Liverpool took forever. They need to move the ball quicker. So I hope part of the reason for that, I guess, is because they don't have 66 anymore, and 66 is quite often that creative outlook who would, whip a ball across the pitch. Ooh, Barcelona. Ooh, Dani Olmo, but cleared off the line. But they need to perhaps figure out a way to do that without 66 because he's not there anymore. And Nayab says, yeah, media. That's the thing with the media, though, to a certain degree. Like they always kind of hype up new players so that later on they can tear them down when things don't work out. You kind of see this kind of thing all the time. Jeffrey says the build-up yeah, you're correct. The build-up takes so long to get to Isak or Ekatike or even Salah, like whoever's there. Like, and I'm curious as to why that is. It might be because they're playing a slightly different system, so maybe they're unfamiliar with it. So because they're unfamiliar with it, maybe they just need a few seconds to think, oh, what am I supposed to do? What do I do here? What do I do? Maybe when you spend a few seconds thinking, that gives players time to run back. I don't know, but yeah, I'd like to see. I'd like to see the ball moved faster, because quite often, as we saw against Galatasaray and as we saw against Crystal Palace, they will. Second. They will get the ball up the pitch, but by the time they get it there, there's 11 defenders, and then you just can't break through. Nayab says, "What about FIFA's boy Pessi? What specifically? what specifically?" Yeah, I think Mbappe. Maybe not much better for me, but I think Mbappe was better than Yamal at 18. But again, like it depends. Like I feel like players mature and grow at different ages. Some players very good at 18 and then didn't quite live up to that standard. Some players terrible at 21 but transform their careers. But yeah, kind of on the Yamal front for me. I think he's good, but he's not the best thing since sliced bread yet. He might be in a few years, but kind of based on what I'm seeing right now, I'd say I'd say good. Yeah, good player, but uh, better than Ronaldo and Messi, as some people are saying. No, Ikram is saying facts for real, for real. When the attack is on, they should not play the ball backwards. Yeah, I mean playing it backwards just makes things even slower. I mean, maybe they're a bit scared to take risks. Maybe that's why number one they're taking a lot of time, and number two why they're playing it backwards. So if they're afraid to take risks, perhaps it's a confidence thing. Maybe that they need to work through. But yeah, it is quite frustrating seeing the opposition kind of running, scurrying to get back, and at the same time Liverpool are playing it backwards. So these things do need to be addressed, I think. What's your favorite game to play with friends? Probably like some sort of FPS game. Um, Call of Duty is pretty good. Those type of games. Liverpool have also conceded most goals in the top 10 in the league table. Wow, I didn't know that, to be fair. That's uh, that's that's something they're also going to need to work on. Um, I don't know if it's because the midfield is a bit more fluid now. Do you think that could be a reason why the midfield is a bit more fluid? So when things are fluid, they are less structured in nature. So when things are less structured, they they're less organized, and therefore when they're less organized, they're a bit less defensive. Maybe I don't know if I'm making too many leaps there, but what is interesting is, like, I love Gravenberch, but what is interesting is the amount of goals that Gravenberch is getting. And I'm like, hold on, I thought you were supposed to be a bit more defensive. So whilst he has given Gravenberch license to get forward, maybe that needs to be kind of tweaked slightly. Maybe get Gravenberch a bit more kind of defensive. Yeah, you are correct. By kind of being more fluid, you're it kind of to a certain degree kind of feels like everyone has a free role. But naturally, when that happens, there's less organization, so there's more gaps and there's more holes, and then oppositions can exploit, and then I think it just needs a bit more kind of rigidity and a bit more kind of structure, more similar to kind of what they had last season, I think. And Nayob says Rube Ballon d'Or years. Your opinion? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, so we'll have to see how it goes against Chelsea, I guess. Me personally, I'm not panicking, but I am a bit disappointed. Ikram says, could Ekatike grow into a fan favorite? I think he's already grown into a fan favorite. Seems to be really well liked. Seems to be really popular. Um, Seems to be kind of getting goals. Seems to be finishing his chances. All those kind of things always help you become a fan favorite. Um, so I think, yeah, he's already He's already growing into that. I don't know if he is that just yet because it's probably still a bit early to be a definitive fan favorite. But I think he's on the right path. I think he's on the right path. He just needs to keep his shirt on. I think I think that's the most important thing. Just keep his shirt on. I mean, robbery Ballon d'Or years. As in, do I think this year's Ballon d'Or was a robbery? Is that what you mean? Um, I mean, I think Salah should have gotten it. I mean, robbery kind of feels like a very strong word. Um, Me personally, I think Salah should have gotten the Ballon d'Or. Based on the numbers that he delivered and the fact that he delivered those numbers in the Premier League. And the fact that I appreciate it's an annual competition, but also the fact that he's been doing that um, pretty much 8 seasons in a row and has never really been formally recognised with an award. So based on that, I would have given him the Ballon d'Or this year. Additionally, like he's never gonna have a season again. I don't think like he had last year. So personally, I would have given it to him last year. Um, I mean, I understand why they gave it to Dembele, but me personally, I would have given it to Salah. Charlotte's loving the style of your beard. Thank you, I appreciate that. Jeffrey says, Bud, you have an admirer, yes. Charlotte does seem to like the beard. Nayab says, Vinny deserves the Ballon d'Or 2024. Who was that? Rodri. Was that Rodri that won that one? Um, the thing is, like, to be honest with you, the way I see the Ballon d'Or, it's just like a popularity contest at school, where kind of the most popular girl wins or the most popular boy wins. Like whoever has the most friends, that's kind of who gets voted in. Um, so me like I know some people kind of value it a lot, but me personally, I'm like, it's a popularity contest. I would have liked Salah to win it this year, but and you perhaps would have liked Vinny to win it last year. But it just seems like a PR kind of popularity thing. Ikram says, "Will Isak become the focal point of Liverpool's attack?" I think so. Yeah, I think long term. Now I appreciate it's in a bit of a volatile situation because Isak hasn't had a pre-season, and he's getting up to fitness now. So I appreciate things are perhaps a bit more volatile than you'd expect. But long term, or perhaps you can say kind of post Christmas, um, I'd say yeah, I'd say Isak would be the starter, and Ekatike would likely be the backup option. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But for me, you don't spend 130 million on a striker, and additionally sour your relationship with a fellow club if you don't mean to start the player. So I'd say he would be. Nayab says Rodri robbed that year. To be fair, he was quite good. He was quite good that year. But Vinicius was good as well. It's tough. Like it's tough because you can only give one of them. There's only one award. But again, me personally, I like if Salah won it, like I'd be happy for him. But I also don't place kind of too much value on it. I just think it's a popularity thing. Charlotte says for sure. Yes, I think Charlotte's saying that Isak will become the focal point. Jeffrey says Isak will be up to speed in 2 months. Makes sense. I think it makes sense. Because when Liverpool bought him, I think he was maybe 2 months behind in fitness because the other players, they'd had a pre-season tour in Asia. They'd had the pre-season games in UK. So Isak missed that as kind of month number 1. And I think additionally, he didn't play the first few games in the Premier League. So he missed those games as well. So yeah, I think 2 months is perhaps a suitable time frame for him to kind of get fully up to fitness. I mean, you can see his movement already. To be fair, in games, you can see his strength, you can see his pace. So yeah, I think we'll see the best of him. Hopefully just before Christmas, that sort of thing. But as they've said as well, to be fair, they didn't buy him just for now. They've bought him for 6 years. So whilst it is kind of frustrating that he's not playing, you can understand why they're getting him up to fitness. But yeah, I think your 2 months is a good estimate. Messi's 8 Ballon d'Or, was it? To be honest with you, I didn't know it was 8. I mean, just looking at it there, that's quite a lot. I mean, the thing is, I mean, to ascertain if it was fair or not, you'd almost have to kind of go through all of them year by year and figure out if it was fair. I mean, naturally, you think he did deserve a lot, but 8. I mean, I'm probably being biased, but the 2019 one where kind of Van Dijk came second, I'd probably have given that one to Van Dijk. To a certain degree, it just always felt like the default choice. Like, oh, there's an award, give it to Messi. There's an award, kind of give it to Messi. So I would like to see. I would like to have seen Van Dijk win one. So maybe 8 is excessive. So you might be right. Rocky says, "Do you know Fenerbahce, bro?" Yeah, Turkish team. Big Nevo says, "This Barcelona side are so far away from winning the Champions League. They can't even beat this weak PSG. Yeah, it has not been a good performance for them. I mean, they're trying, but it's going to take a bit more than trying." The passing's been off, to be fair. Positioning's been off. Shot accuracy has been poor. And additionally, they're also at home. So you think and hope they'd get a result. But yeah, based on this alone, they don't look great. The only kind of comfort, I guess, to a certain degree is it is very early in the year, so maybe they can improve. Jeffrey says, "Why does Flo look like he is holding back?" To me, like, he looks a bit nervous. He still looks a bit nervous. It feels like it may be like a mental thing. Like more like in the head kind of thing. So it could be mental, it could be kind of confidence related. But I think once he gets a couple of goals, I think that will certainly help. That will help his confidence, and so then it will look less like he's holding back. And I think additionally as well, I think there's some physical work for him to do. So he's 22, which is very young. But I think for the Premier League in particular, I think maybe he needs to add a bit of muscle. Maybe he needs to add a little bit of weight, not too much weight, but maybe a little bit of weight, so that players can't just push him off the ball. And that's something that's going to take time. But the good thing is he's in the right place to do it. If you look at 66 looked tiny, and then a year or two later he looked absolutely jacked. So I'm sure the kind of training staff and the coaching staff, they'll put him on a diet, they'll put him on a training regime, and they'll look to add a bit of muscle. And I think those two things combined, so the physical side with respect to kind of muscle and nutrition, and secondly the mental side with respect to confidence, I think those two things will resolve over time, and then things should be looking a bit better. Charlotte seems to agree. That's good to hear. And Nayab says Messi robbed 2010, 2015, 2019, 2021, and 2023. You'll have to remind me who the other years were. So 2019, that's the Van Dijk one. I remember that. But who was 2010, 2015, 2021? Who were the other ones around those times? You'll have to remind me. Ikram says, couldn't deny it. Facts indeed. Jeffrey thinks he looks bulky. Ooh, PSG just hit the post. Jeffrey thinks Wirtz looks bulky. To be honest, to me, he looks a bit skinny. To me, he looks a bit skinny. Particularly the upper body. Like if you just look at Harvey Elliott, maybe 2 years ago, and Harvey Elliott now, like he looks significantly bulkier. So yeah, for me, I think he perhaps needs to add a bit of muscle, but like adding muscle takes time. But not too much time. Equally, he's 22, so he's at a good age, and he will have professional chefs cooking for him. He will have professional physios and professional trainers in the gym. So I think that's something that can be worked on. How would Gahey's style suit Slot's tactical preferences? Jeffrey says Gahey will stop attacks. That's more than Kanate's done recently. But yeah, I mean, if you just look at him, he's a good defender. He's Premier League proven. He's a good tackler. He's a good header. He's also quite good with the ball at his feet as well. So he's more of a kind of modern centre back rather than a kind of old style centre back. And I think Slot and Liverpool in particular, they do tend to kind of favour the more kind of modern type of centre back. So I think kind of based on that, he'll fit in really well, I think. It'll be interesting to see if he comes in January or if he comes at the end of the year. I think was it 35 million? Was it 35 million that they bid in the summer? I think if they go back in for him in January, it will perhaps be maybe 20, something like that. 20ish probably seems suitable. And if they can't agree a deal, they'll probably wait till the summer and get him for free. Ooh, header by PSG, but saved. Slot is a good technician. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Tactically very good. Technically very good. The that's why it's kind of interesting to see how he kind of deals with the current situation. Um, he's made some tweaks, and those tweaks maybe they have worked in certain aspects, but in terms of a kind of results aspect, in particular recently, they haven't really worked so well. But he's flexible. He's shown that he's flexible, and he's shown that he's willing to try new things. So Liverpool don't always play the same formation. They can change it mid-game. They can sometimes put Ryan Gravenberch in defence. So he's kind of technically very good. So it'll be interesting to see how the system kind of evolves further now. What I hope he does is he transitions into some sort of hybrid formation that has elements of the formation this year, and also has elements of the last year's formation, and maybe that's a good compromise. Ikram says so Nayab has provided context. So Messi won the Ballon d'Or in all these years, but Nayab thinks the second place should have got it. So 2010 second place was Iniesta. 2015 was Neymar. 2019 was Van Dijk. 2021 was Lewandowski. Did Lewandowski not win it? Or did Lewandowski win it the next year? I might have that wrong. 2023 Erling Haaland. Yeah. I mean, eight Ballon d'Ors is crazy. I certainly would have given Van Dijk the 2019 one. PSG are through here, but I don't think anything's gonna happen. Yeah, nothing happened. Yeah, to be honest, I doubt anyone will ever get will ever get 8 again. I think Slot is looking into the future. That's a fair point. So perhaps he won't want to. Equally, it makes sense. I think certain people are kind of panicking, saying he should instantly, straight away, just revert back to what he did last year. But equally, like for me, there would have been a reason that he changed it. And you're right, I think he's maybe looking to the future to say, okay, last year we had these players, going forward we're going to have these players, so I need to tweak it. So for me, maybe he needs to find some sort of mix that's kind of has one eye on the future, but also has one eye based on how things have worked previously, and then maybe that's a kind of happy middle ground. But it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens. I do think a lot of people are panicking. I'm definitely not panicking, but I think I guess that's what happens when you set very high standards. When those standards dip, panic ensues. Charlotte says, how's Liverpool's midfield shaping up this season? Jeffrey says we have the best midfield in the league. Yeah, I think the midfield is looking very good. Oh, PSG have scored, but is it offside? PSG have scored in the 90th minute. Dang. Barcelona are actually gonna lose this. Are actually gonna lose at home. Oh, don't put it offside. After I change the score on the screen, don't then do no VAR offside, because then I have to change it back. Nehab says FIFA's boy Messi. Yeah, he was their poster child. Jeffrey's chilled. It's still early days. Yeah, it's just gone October today. As I was kind of explaining to kind of somebody yesterday. I was like, look, it's still literally right at the start of the season. We're not even in mid-season yet. Because if you think about it, we've got the whole of October, and then we've got the whole of November, and then we've got the whole of December. That's almost 100 days. And that only takes you to Christmas, not the end of the season. So there's a long way to go just to Christmas. Not even a long way to go to the end of the season. But yeah, it's I think people are just kind of panicking, and the answer isn't always to sack someone and bring it in, because that has additional impact, I think. Will Gahey develop into a long-term defensive cornerstone? I think Gahey, he'll be he'll be groomed into that position. Yeah, I'd presume he might be the Kanate replacement. You never know, but I think he's too good a player to just keep as a backup, to keep just as a bench player, and he's also quite young from an age perspective. Oh, PSG through again, goes wide. So yeah, I think they will be looking at him to be a starter. And I think, to be fair, they say that. I think, to be fair, they expect that of all their players. So they don't just say, oh hey, we're buying you and you'll be a backup. I think they say, oh hey, we're buying you and we expect you to push whoever's the starter so that you can become the starter. So they'd say the same thing to him. Why did the tomato sit on the chair? To catch up with comfort. Makes sense. Jeffrey says, funny lady. Yeah. Messi will win these kind of awards playing on Premier League. I mean, I guess we'll never know. I think being from Argentina, I think that helps. Like if Salah was Argentinian, I think he would have won more individual awards. So I think being from Argentina, it does help to a certain degree. But equally, I think playing for Barcelona, or to be fair, Barcelona or Real Madrid, I feel like playing for the Spanish Giants, that does help you with respect to individual awards as well. So if he was a Premier League player, I don't know, for Arsenal or Liverpool or something, I think he would have won Ballon d'Ors, but perhaps not 8 of them. Like the Iniesta one, for example. Was it 2010 that you said? I think you said 2010. This one here, where you said 2010 Iniesta. I think if Messi was a Premier League player, I think Iniesta would have won that. Neymar might have won the 2015 one. So I think you could be right. Yeah, you were correct. PSG do own Barcelona. Nice little goal at the end there. But yeah, this is not what they want, especially at home. They were rubbish. to be honest with you. PSG have beaten them away from home with a weakened lineup. So yeah, this is something that they're gonna have to rectify, I think. I didn't know it was 3 times in a row, to be fair. PSG have beaten Barcelona 3 times in a row. I think you're correct with your ownage. They definitely own them then if it's 3 times at their own ground. 2-4-1s and this. They are they appear to be their Barcelona's bogey team to a certain degree. How are you, Kissick? Hope you're good. Kissick 123. This match is just finished. And I'm proper dehydrated. But that's life. But anyway, 2-1 win. I think I went for Barcelona 2-1, so I got it wrong. But never mind. I'm gonna go now. I'll be back for the Man United game because I'm on holiday on Saturday. But I'll be back for the Man United game in about 2 weeks ish. Ronaldo dominated Premier League in 2008. Yeah. Indeed he did. But anyway, take care, guys. Have a nice evening. Have a nice weekend also. As I said, because I'm on holiday, I won't be able to do the Chelsea-Liverpool game, but I'll be back for the Man United-Liverpool game in about 2 weeks. So yeah, take care, guys. Take care, Nayob. Jeffrey says, cool, see you around. You too, Jeffrey. Take care, Jeffrey. Enjoy your weekend, and yeah, see you guys in about 2 weeks. Take care.